What is going on, everybody? Today we're looking at something special, something we don't normally do on the channel, but we're looking at two Captain America figures here. So if you've watched the channel for a while, you'll know that I've mentioned quite a bit that I am a huge fan of Captain America. He is my favorite superhero, so I buy a lot of Captain America stuff, have a big collection of Captain America, and I usually just buy figures and just, open them, put them on a shelf, and that's about it. Very rarely, unless, come in like a Marvel Legends wave or something, do I specifically do the figures. So we're doing figures don't normally do here today with the Diamond Select Toys Marvel Select Captain America. So this was a brand new one that was released with a classic style Captain America. Of course, always my favorite designs is the old classic design. Comes with a lot of cool accessories. We can make more of the World War II version. We get an unmasked head version, and then we have the, like I'd say, normal classic Captain America the way he is here in the box. So I'm super excited for that. I think he looks awesome there. Of course, it is a Diamond Select. They're never really that good at figures, but he still looks cool. And then we're going to be looking at the Medicom Mafex, which I don't know if I've ever looked at any here on the channel. I have had some others in the past, but like I said, haven't really looked at them before. But we have Captain America from the Winter Soldier in the stealth form. So he's got the dark blue and silver outfit, which looks cool. Of course, we get extra head sculpts, especially there of Chris Evans, unmasked one. We get two shields, so the stealth shield and the normal Captain America shield, and just looks pretty cool for that as well. So you can see the different variations and posability with this figure. So we're going to be taking a look at both of these today, and I'm super excited about that. Of course, getting more Captain Americas into the collection, but let me go get both of these open out of the box and we'll take a look at them together. So let's start off with our Marvel Select Captain America. Looks pretty good in this design, nice classic colors and everything, looks like to me normal classic Captain America. So it looks pretty good with the face design. So of course he does have the dark shading around his face. That's always, part of the classic comic design. Of course, with the A and the wings on the side of his head, you see some of his face. So some of the face of Steve Rogers, the ears hanging out the side. And then it goes down to the blue, so the face covering all around there. Continuing on with the blue till we get to the chest where he has the big white star on his chest. And I love how they added some of the design for like little bumps and stuff for his scaling, so that's pretty cool. It's not everywhere, just in certain sections, and they added some shading with it as well. And then like down the arms, we transition to the white all the way to the red gloves, so we get the red glove designs with the big cuffs that come off there. And then in the middle, we get the red wine stripes all the way around the midsection, which is nice. Black belt around the waist, and the blue pants that come all the way down to the red boots, again with the big red cuff on the top of them as well. So again, just nice classic design. This is always one of my favorites. I don't really care about the black on the face, but just this like normal classic original design is what I love about Captain America. Now we'll do the movements on the figure, so the head can twist all the way around, can look down that far and up that far. So there's some movements just at the head, so it's probably like a dumbbell sort of joint there. Yeah, you can kind of see the heads do come off pretty easily. They don't just fall off, but if you move them too much, they will come off. But then we also get a joint down in the neck. That's a dumbbell as well, so it can move back and forth. And of course, with both of those, they twist around, so the top twist around and the lower neck will twist around as well. It just doesn't twist all the way around, but it does twist side to side. So you get some decent movements in that, so it can look up pretty good and down pretty far. So good for that movement. And then we go to the shoulders that do come up pretty close to 90. It gets a little stiffer the further you go up, so it can go up at least that far and can rotate around. We get a bicep twist and the double elbow joint that bends up that far, which is pretty good for that. And then we get the wrist that'll twist around and hinge back and forth. And then we go to the ab crunch. So right on here we get a crunch, so a little bit back and forth, not much, just a little bit of rocking, pretty much what it is. And then it will twist around very little, so it feels a thing like it should be able to twist more, but it's also fighting me, so I don't want to twist it in case something breaks or whatever. So just a little side to side. But if we want to twist more at the waist, it does twist around, so you can twist all the way around there just above the belt. And then down to the legs, the hips can come up pretty close to 90. It doesn't seem all the way to 90, but it is really close. And then it'll go out to the side as well, can pretty much do the split, so that's pretty nice for that. And then there is a bit of a thigh twist as well, so in that joint there's some movement back and forth. And then we get the double knee joint that can bend up. I think it's a little stiff in places, but can bend up that far. The legs are hitting there, so can't go any further than that. We do get a shin twist at the top of the boot, and then the foot does flex back and forth. A little bit stiff, but flexes back and forth and can twist side to side. So overall, pretty good movements for this. I'm quite surprised. Of course, I've dealt with Diamond Select toys with the Lord of the Rings, but these have so much more movements compared to them, especially with the, double elbows and much better range just overall in a lot of joints. And compared to past figures I'll show you, has much better movements, a lot of easier things. I've had issues with the past ones. Again, I'll show you those figures, but there's issues with like feet being wrong. I can't get them to stand too easy because, they don't have like the rockers in the foot, so I can't really get their feet to stand flat. So just have a lot of issues with those, where this, I don't really have anything. Now, it's not perfect, have to kind of adjust it a little to get it to stand, but the biggest like downside I see to this, besides, the tab not being able to fully turn. I don't know if it's supposed to or not, but again, I don't want to mess with it too much because I've broken so many figures when they feel like that. But the hip sort of sticks out to the side. That's the biggest issue. So if you see that this one, it kind of goes in, where this one, it sticks out more, so you can see more of that joint there compared to this one that you have to get it pretty far forward to even see that opening. But besides that, that's like the only issue I see at all with this figure. Now we do get a number of accessories that we can switch out, give them different looks and designs, but first we'll start with hands. That of course can work for anything. So we get a set of fist hands, so 2 sets of fists if we want to give them, and then we also get a set of flat palm hands. Not really sure what those would be. Could be useful for the shields, like holding the shields on his hands. That may be it, but other than that, I don't know why we would want them. And then we do also get a grip hand with a wider like C grip there, since he does already have a grip hand, so it just matches for the right. And then he does also come with that pointing hand as well. Now we do get heads that we can switch out. So we do get this. I think it's supposed to be more classic, like part of like his early appearances, where he only has the helmet on his head and then he's bared from the neck down. So not the best design, but we'll switch this out. I do like that it doesn't have any of the black though on it. That is pretty nice. But we can switch this out, which it's not hard at all. Like the head, like I said, obviously comes off pretty easily. It's just getting the neck out can be an issue at points. So I can't get the neck out at all. I was able to do it when I opened the figure, but now I can't get it out. I just can't get a grip on it just because the material is so smooth. So I'm trying to like grab it, and like my hand just keeps sliding off. I've tried other things just trying to get it off, and I just can't get the neck out. Like I said, it's not that it's super tough. It's about like the head joint where you just barely pull on it, comes out, but I just can't get a grip on it to get it slid out. So unfortunately, I can't switch out the necks, but we'll switch out the heads at least. Of course, it won't be the proper looks, but we can switch it out just to see what it looks like. So there's that head. Again, it'd be better if it didn't have the neck color, which I actually think that design doesn't look too bad at all. Probably wouldn't be bad to keep him in that, but like I said, it's supposed to be with the, I want to say naked neck or whatever we'll call it. So you could do that, but I don't think that looks too bad at all either. And then we do also get a completely unmasked head. So we get Steve Rogers' face there. Looks pretty nice overall. Nice, of course, blonde hair, blue eyes, normal for Captain America. And again, be nice if we could get that neck switched out, but again, get it pulled out. But we can at least put the unmasked head on him. And then with that, we do also get an unmasked piece that can go around his neck. So that may look pretty decent. So it looks like, he actually slid his mask off and it's just him. So like that overall, yeah, probably wouldn't look too bad, which it doesn't at all. So you get that. So the unmasked head of Steve Rogers there with the mask hanging down there off the back. And of course, it's got that black details on him. So that overall isn't too bad, I wouldn't say. So you could probably do that easily as well. But again, it's meant to be with the skin tone neck, but can't get it switched out, unfortunately. But like I said, that doesn't look bad at all either. And then we get some extra accessories to make him, I want to say, more modern design or whatever it's supposed to be. So we do get straps that we can put around him. So you get these straps around his shoulders. So I assume we just got to slide him on the back. So there he's got the straps around his shoulders, which don't look too bad at all. Now I may have to heat it up and just sort of get him like flattened down around the muscles because it's kind of just sticking off a little bit too much, but that doesn't look bad at all. And what's cool with that is that if you have that on, it does give you a place to attach the shield onto his back if you want to do that. So that is pretty cool, gives you that option. So if you want to store it on his back, you will have to put the straps on there, which of course makes sense. How else would it be held on? But that looks pretty decent. And then we do also get a belt that we can put around his waist. So kind of like this belt with all the pockets and everything, buckle there in the front, and it just gets undone here in the back. We can put this around his waist. So there he's got that belt, pretty easy to get that on as well. And I guess that just makes him, I won't say like more tactical, ready for battle. I don't know exactly what design you'd say exactly that is, but just with the straps and the belt, gives him more than just his basic classic design, which of course I love the basics, but this looks pretty nice as well. And of course with all that, we can give him different shields. So if we want to make it more like World War II era, we can give him that classic shield. So this old shield design, of course with the blue up top with the 3 stars and the red and white stripes down. So again, nice classic design that we can take and slide onto his arm. So these are pretty cool designs, so you can switch it however you want it to go onto his arm. So if we want to put on his left, which is what I usually do, we can switch it around, or you can just take it off. It does come all the way off as well. So you can switch that around to put it onto his left arm now. And as I showed, this does come off, so it gives you the peg there. So you can then stick it into his back. So you can take it and put this now on his back, and it'll store in the back there just like that. So that's cool. So love the function of this, much better than the Marvel Legends Captain America shields. Now they usually have that little peg that switches back and forth, from a peg to stick into his back, or you can flip it back and it'll give you the grip. But those grips over time tend to break off. So this is nice. We get this option where it has the actual hand grips. Like I said, I may need to switch out his hand to the flat hand. Not sure how to work there, but then put this on his arm. And there, the flat palm hand works. It just is too loose. So I may have to put the grip hand back on and just get the handle into his hand for the grip, so you could do that. So there he's got the classic World War II shield design. So again, we can obviously switch out, make him look more World War II design and give him that shield. That'll look pretty good. But then we can also give him the modern shield, just the more rounded shield with the white star blue around that, and then the red and white stripes there. And again, has the same design, so you can switch it around, do whatever you want with the inside. Take this off, plug it into his back again, whatever there. But we can just go and slide this into his hand for now. So there he's got the more modern design. So that looks pretty cool for Captain America, and he can be leading the charge now into battle. And again, switch out the different heads, do whatever we want there. But I think that overall looks pretty cool. So far, this is the best Marvel Select version of Captain America I've ever had. Of course, there's been a bunch, but I only have a couple. Most of them are MCU versions, but out of like the comic designs, this is definitely the best. And speaking of that, here are some of those older figures. So here is probably, I'd say, the next best one, because it works a lot better than especially the next one I show you. But this is, I want to say, a little bit more modern one, but then of course has, I want to say the classic World War II design, but has the straps, the belt, of course the shield just in the darker colors and stuff, and looks more tactical. But I do believe this is supposed to be a comic design and not a movie. It's hard to tell with some of them because they didn't have likenesses very well back then, so hard to really tell. But I don't believe that's supposed to be an MCU one. And then we have this classic one as well, with the classic, has the scaling design, which I do like that. And then is in the pants, boots, just all darker colors. Just this one has weird messed up legs. If you see this left leg here, and then this one like doesn't have rockers in its feet, so it's hard to get it to stand. But there we can have that. Of course, as you see, it is much taller than the other two as well. But there we have 3 different comic versions of Captain America. And as I said, this new one is definitely the best. Love that we have the different options to make him from the different eras, and just has that classic design that I love. And moon-wise, this one's the best, so definitely love this Marvel Select Captain America. Now switching over, we have the Medicom Mafex Captain America from Captain America Winter Soldier. So we have the more stealth suit Captain America, which looks pretty good, of course, from the MCU movies, the second Captain America movie. So it looks pretty good. So we will have more of Chris Evans' likeness in here in the face, of course, with this helmet. Doesn't seem as good, especially with his face, like his lips and nose seem like all like squished together, almost like mousy or something. But looks good with the eyes, of course, the blue eyes. His ears seem to be sticking out a little bit, but of course the helmet will do that, but it's not horrible. We get the silver A on his head and a little bit of the wing design coming off the side. Again, in this all darker blue color, giving it that stealth design, or what seems to be the MCU version of the Captain Rogers. So it looks pretty good again with the dark colors and the silver. So I love, especially on the arm, he has the American flag and Rogers there, so a little nameplate. He does have the brown straps, so that's nice carrying on there with the brown straps around the back and the brown belt around his waist, brown gloves on his hands, and then that blue and darker blue, almost black, and like little designs, where his normal stripe design, so where the white would normally be, is now this black color. Continue down to we get the boots. So we have these guards on his boots that look pretty nice with the dark brown and black design covering up the like more tactical boots on there. And overall looks pretty nice details and design wise, does look like the Captain America it is supposed to portray. Now with this being a more expensive figure, we're gonna have nicer joints, a little bit better movements, so the head will twist all the way around. You can look down that far and up that far. So again, like the other one, we do get the head joint itself, probably on a dumbbell that moves back and forth. Actually, if we sort of like lift up, yeah, you can see the dumbbell joint there, so you get that range. And then there's also probably a dumbbell down at the neck as well that loves movement back and forth, so really good range in the neck there. Then we get these shoulders that do come up to 90, actually over 90, so you kind of get this separation out joint, so it kind of separates and gives you better range there. There is the butterfly joint as well, not a whole lot of range back and forth, but it does move there. And of course it can rotate around. We get the double elbow joint that almost has what I always call like the Revoltech joints there, so we get that does bend up at least that far, so not all the way, but it's pretty close. And then there is some rotation in that as well, so you get the different joints in there. And then the wrist will twist all the way around again on those Revoltech, so it's like the McFarlane joint. So you have the ball that's split, so wherever it's split, that's where you can flex, so flex back and forth. But if we want to adjust it, you just got to get the ball, twist the split to like up and down, and then the hand could flex up and down and everything. So not horrible, it just depends on the joints and how they look and everything, but I don't think they're too bad on there. But then we go to the ab crunch, so we get the upper ab crunch, so back and forth. So this one seems to be mostly back, so he crunches back decently and not very far forward. I'm trying to even like adjust him. That's like as far forward as I can go, but it'll also twist all the way around there as well. And then at the waist, we do get crunching back and forth, so he'll crunch forward, so he can crunch that far forward and that far back. So not too bad at all for that. And it will twist around at the waist as well. And then down to the hips can come up to 90, a little bit over it looks like, and then out to the side he can do that far, so not fully really the splits, but there's some thigh twists, and it seems like the hips do have some drop down to them, so you got to push them back up in there. Then we get the double knee joint that moves. Of course, with these joints, they all just move very slow. You just barely push them and they move. So it goes that far to the back and then down to the shin twist at the top of the boot. So that'll twist all the way around. And now the foot, we don't get too much flexing, mostly because of this material that's hanging down over his boot. So it's hard to really get the foot to flex at all. So it's just, forcing it to move all that's moving there, and has a little bit of twist side to side. And then there is a toe joint on the end of the boots as well. So overall, the movements are pretty nice. Nice smooth movements. Like I said, you just barely push on and they move. Like nothing's stuck on these, and never have to worry about anything like that. But they also aren't like the best range of movements. Like you'd think they'd have the best range ever, but not the best, but nice smooth movements at least. But everything works out nice. Like I said, my biggest issue is the feet. Having some issues getting him to stand because the feet don't all have much movement to get him to adjust too well. But we do get a number of accessories with these, so that's another thing with this. So first, we do get an unmasked head. So there's a nice Chris Evans portrait. It looks pretty nice. Looks like him pretty much how he does with his blonde hair poofed up and everything. So looks pretty nice for that. And then if we do want to give him this, since he won't be wearing a helmet, we do get an unhelmeted head, or whatever, what you call it, just a plain helmet that you can then put into his hand. So those go nice together. So we have unmasked with the helmet down in his hand, or we get another helmeted head that has more of like an angrier fighting face. So with his gritted teeth there, of course, that's really the only difference. The eyes don't look like he's much angry or anything, but just have gritted teeth. So if you want to have more in a fight mode. And then we also get a number of hands. So just random hands, I guess we get here. So we get these hands, and it's cool that they also put them on this like piece, so you can easily, get the hands on and off and keep the hands together. So we get a set of like trigger finger hands, grip hands with trigger fingers. We get a set of pointing finger hands, so again, for leading or whatever. We get some more open grasp hands, so again, posing up, whatever that'd be for. Some splayed out finger hands, so some wide hands there. And then we also get some splayed out hands that have additional pieces on them so that we can use the shield for throwing. So I'll have to show you what that looks like here in a second. So you can easily take these hands, put them on him, and then use this for throwing the shield. And speaking of, we do get two shield designs. So we get the normal Captain America shield, so the red, white, and blue shield design looks nice. Of course, we do have a grip piece missing, which we do get the attachments. Now, I do have issues getting these on. I can't really get them in. Like, I can get them put on and they'll stay, but if you do any movements, like try to put them in his hand at all, they fall off. So it doesn't really work out to us like that there. But like I said, if you do any really movements, it just falls off. So we get this small one. I'm not sure why, because we already have a small. So maybe, I guess, if you want to store it on his back or something and, won't be having it on his arm, you could put two small ones on. But then we also get a big one as well. And there is a bit of like a key joint design. So it's got a little bit of like an L shape cut out, and there is a bit of an L shape right in that thing. So you have to, make sure you get it lined up and putting it on properly. But even while doing that, like I said, I get it on there. But as soon as you try and put it on him at all, it just falls off. So quite a bit annoying about that. So we get the red, white, and blue shield. And then we also get the stealth shield. So the blue and silver design, which look cool. Of course, for this, I feel this is the one we need to give him, because that's, what he has in the movie with this outfit. So I feel that'd be the most thing, but you can obviously choose either one. Now, like I said, with the shield, we can't put it into his hand in the throwing. So if we take one of these hands, you just take the shield and slide it in there. So it has this clear piece that keeps it on, and you can obviously put it in here much easier where it will be under the wrapping. So it kind of helps hold it on the bottom as well. And it just sticks in his hand like that. So it's there like he's, throwing it or catching it, whatever you want to call it. So that'd be cool. So maybe we can switch this hand out. So there I got the shield in his hand. I went ahead and switched it to the right. So he could either be throwing it or catching it with his right hand to then, switch over to put it onto his left, where I'll always want him wearing it there. So I think that's a cool feature in design. You see I have him standing up here, no issues or anything with that. So that's cool. Now we can also store it onto his back. Now I did not look this up to like confirm it. I've just kind of guessed in my head with what all these pieces are, but we do get this additional piece as well. So I have this piece that I wasn't exactly sure what it was, but I was like, I know there's got to be a way to store it on his back, because the box kept showing, you could store his shield on his back, but he has nothing to do, like no plugs or anything, and his back is just flat down here. So I wasn't sure. So I'm like, this has to be it. So I think with this, I thought maybe you stuck this like under his joint here, so like up in the back, but that didn't work out. I couldn't get it to fit. But I think if you slide this in under his harness on the back here, so it has these lower pieces with nice flat points, so they can slide in easier. So you just slide them up under it like that. And then the shield, especially if we have the hand grips on or whatever, especially the small ones like this, you can slide on his back like that, and it'll store on his back there. So there he has the shield. And of course, if you have the lower one, you can get it slid on the bottom as well. So it just kind of helps keep it more stable there, and that can hang on his back as well. So if that is what it's supposed to be, that's cool. You know, it is clear, so you don't really notice it too much, but you can get the shield to stick onto his back. And with this, we do also get a stand, so you get a display stand, so this nice clear stand, and you get different pieces, so we can obviously take this and wrap this around his waist. So you can put it around his waist like that, obviously to keep him stable on his shelf, so he doesn't fall off or anything, especially depending on how you want him posed up. So we get that normal grip, and then we have this grip as well, and I just, again, I didn't see any instructions, so I just put this stuff together. So you have this that can kind of go under his crotch and then around his waist, so if you want to maybe have him up in the air, you get a much better secure grip around him with that. We also get this grip, again, not sure what it's supposed to be. I think you can just take, because this one I think went together, you just take this top part off that has the two grips and then put it on this one. So again, it's pretty much just another standard grip, but again, not sure what all these pieces do. And then we get a clear peg as well. Again, not exactly sure what this, I think it'd be cool if you could put it somewhere with his hand to function. So it's like his shield is thrown and, you know, clear piece with the shield being thrown off. But again, I don't know exactly what all these pieces do and go to. I assume you can, yeah, put them in the stand somehow, but I'm not sure what they're supposed to function like. But that is everything we get with this Medicom Mafex version of Captain America. Like I said, I think it's cool. Obviously, it is more expensive. Like, I don't remember how much I paid exactly, but it's probably getting close to $100. So, you know, especially compared to the $25, $30 you get for Marvel Legends, this is much more expensive, but the joints are much smoother. You do get poses. I don't know, wouldn't necessarily say more posing, but you get all the extra hands, you know, like this case, extra shields, heads. Marvel Legends, you don't get that. And you get a stand included for displaying, which is nice. I don't always really care too much for them, but you do get them, and it's cool, you know, that be able to do stuff like this, put the shield on his hand like that for throwing or catching, and then obviously we can put it on his arm, on his back with the piece I attached on there as well. So you get all additional little accessories which make it fun and cool. But let me go and get him off the stand, and we will compare it to Marvel Legends just so you can see what it looks like. So there we have our Mafex, so we can bring in that Marvel Legends, and again, this is the more recent Marvel Legends that they did of this exact same suit. So obviously you see there's a lot less details in paint design. Like, they tried to do their best to carry it out. You see a lot of like the similar details, but it's not as detailed. But I think the likenesses are pretty good, especially if we bring in that unmasked version. I think they both have done a pretty good job with Chris Evans. Yeah, either one doesn't really look bad. I can't really say. This one just is obviously much more smoother, a flat paint, where this one has a little bit of gloss to it, so there's some reflection. But you can see they have pretty similar designs overall to them. So like I said, it's hard to really say which one I think overall is better, because both look about the same. And as you see here, they're relatively close in size. Of course, to me, the Marvel Legend does look a little bit odd proportion-wise, as does the Mafex, like especially with the masked head. The head seems pretty small to me compared to the body, but I think with the unmasked head, it does seem a little bit bigger, so it would probably look better. So let's switch it out. So yeah, there's that unmasked head, which I think looks pretty good overall. So especially these two figures, you know, supposed to be the exact same thing. Both do not look bad. You can't really go wrong with either one. Just obviously you're paying much more for this one compared to this one. So I think for a cheaper price, this is a pretty good option. But I think this looks really good as well, especially with that unmasked head. Like I said, it does fix the issue with the smaller head. So I think it looks much more proportional there. And then I did also want to show, it's obviously not going to be this exact same body. I don't have that one, but here is the SH figure art as well. Of course, this is the in-game Captain America, but as you see, he's a little bit shorter, which I think SH figure arts tend to be a little smaller in size, but he is shorter compared to them. So definitely the Mafex is the tallest of the three, with Marvel Legends being in between and the SH figure arts being the shortest. But like I said, comparing the Mafex and the Marvel Legends, not bad with either option. Like, I think the Marvel Legends, you know, can carry out the look, no major issues there. I do just think the Mafex has a little bit like one like point ahead or something to make it look a little bit better and more accurate. But obviously you have to pay probably close to 3 times the price of this to get that. So I wouldn't really say it's a good trade-off there, but it does look really cool and give you more options. So if you want to spend more money, this is a good version of the stealth suit Captain America to go with. Well, that's going to be it for our 2 Captain America figures, with the Diamond Select Marvel Select Captain America and the Medicom Mafex Winter Soldier Stealth Captain America. So both of these figures are really cool. Really love this Diamond Select Captain America. It's, like I said, definitely my favorite version from Diamond Select so far. Love the different options, and think I'm going to have to like fight with myself to figure out what I exactly want to put on him for the display. And then the Stealth Suit Captain America is really cool as well. Like I said, that Marvel Legends one suits just fine if you don't want to spend the money on it, but I do really like like this, especially just having to be able to put the shield in his hand. That's like my favorite thing about this, just being able to display it like that. So I'll have to figure out how exactly I want to pose him up. But both of these figures really cool. Can highly recommend it for a Captain America fan out there. So excited to have these two added into my collection. But let me know what you thought of these two down in the comments. And if you enjoyed my review, let me know with that like. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button to see more. But I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.